I'm Dr. Jim Smith. I practice in Camden, South Carolina. I was a Right Start member of AMC, but before that, actually, I opened my own practice in Pennsylvania, where I'm from. On my own, had some experience with other management companies prior to that, but didn't use them to do any of the opening. I was just pulling through some of that knowledge, and I figured I'm gonna do it on my own, right? Wasn't guided through the whole thing, so it was not the best, go for a good 5 years. Prior to that, I had associated out of school, graduated in 2001, and so I had a few associate jobs, not great experiences. In 2005, opened a practice. And like I said, it was not a great go. I was married, just a little before that, and we had a new baby on the way. She was, diagnosed with a heart defect, and so I'm struggling in practice, not barely making anything, basically making overhead. My wife worked a job in human resources, and she was the income provider, so I got to pay my bills that I created through the office, And so that didn't make you feel too good about yourself. You go to school, you're called a doctor, you're not acting as such. So, it was pretty frustrating. You work hard, you work in an environment that was pretty competitive, which was a mistake to go into in the first place. Again, no guidance, And there was a lot of struggle. So as my daughter was going through her, it was pretty early into, it was a couple months into after she was born to when she had surgery. I just remember this feeling of, I can't do this. There's too many distractions in life, And so joining AMC from that standpoint I had a friend from school that had been a member, just newly joined, and he was telling me about it. And so I think I already had it in my head, after just talking to him on the phone, that I was going to join because I needed something. I needed some structure. I needed some guidance. And I just felt like life was a bit out of control with all that we were going through personally, what I was going through professionally. And so I decided to go back to practice management, if you want to call it that, right at that time. And go to AMC. And so I joined at my first meeting. I kind of knew I wanted to, and all it really had to be is something that I went to and went, nah, it's not for me. But I knew as soon as I got there that I was going to join. I made a call to my wife, and I said, I think I want to do that. And she said, okay. And so I did it, and I can remember just upon implementing some of the newer things, that I was being taught from that first meeting that I went to, seeing the changes, in the office right away. Now I was still in an environment that was pretty saturated, pretty competitive. So there was a lot of that to deal with. And so while there was more consistency, in that environment for me, the numbers didn't pick up. They picked up some, but they didn't pick up as good as you would have wanted them to. Okay, that was just the situation I was in. We talk about the three things: the land, the man, and the plan, right? And as I was thinking about this, I went back to that thought that I was not in a good land. The man was questionable, honestly. The plan was solid, I think, and then in learning about Right Start, I kept seeing successes with people, moving to new places, opening up, and I thought maybe this is the direction we should go. And I think it took about a year for my wife to realize that too, because we're around family, we're around things that are new. We have a new grandchild, for the grandparents. We have other family around. Her family was a lot larger, and so she was used to that. But she could see, as time went on, that this was not going to be, what we would hope it would be. So we started looking into Right Start, and we found a town and went through the process and did all the work, and said, yeah, okay, let's make a move. And so we started to work that, and it's a tough decision. It was a tough decision because you are pulling away from family or pulling away from what you know. As bad as it was familiar. And to uproot newly married, new baby, health condition, right? All your care is there. Her doctors were there, and that was important, as we were making that move. So to just go to some place that you don't know a soul, And I can remember that, and for me, just doing some of the opening procedures, just thinking, I could remember going out and doing a survey, going out and meeting people, is not my, first choice to go do that, to knock on that door and talk to people, and just introduce myself. It's not me. And I can remember thinking, we had already moved, and I remember thinking, am I going to do that? And I thought, I kind of have to, right? So the plan was there, for how it was laid out for us to do. And we just kept working it. We just kept working it, and we went to the summits, and we did all that we were supposed to do. Did all the surveys, did all the legwork, and just worked the town. We worked the soil, right? And then it was, as we were getting ready to open, it was probably a couple weeks, before we start to book some appointments. The phone starts ringing, and we're looking at each other going, this thing is starting to go. You could see everything was falling in place. It was the right environment. So the land was good, right? It was better. The plan was there, and then the man was still the question mark, I think. And I think it is, it's an ever-evolving one. That's the part that always changes, And I've noticed that over the years, that what I am and who I've become through AMC has changed me as a person. We've consistently grown every year since, through, what we know are a lot of things that have happened through our history in the world, and we sustained all, through all that. We had, in 2013, we had, wife got pregnant again, and so here we are with a second child and then we found out another heart defect. And so that was one that was a lot tougher because, again, now we're removed from family. The hospital wasn't in our town. We were in a smaller town, so we had to travel more for that than we had to before. It got harder, got more difficult when, after birth, it was a tougher go with this one. So, he was born in October of 2013, and in December he died. So he never made it home. And so, I can remember going through that and keeping the office going, but having a solid foundation that we built it on, kept it there. And so we had something to come back to. I was able to kind of be there part-time, but still keep it functional. And I think any time that things like that happen, certainly that could be maybe considered one of the worst times. You always could rely on the system that was built through AMC. So it's not only the plan of getting open through Right Start, but it was all that foundational work that we learned to keep an office, to make an office what it is. So the patients that we built, the community that we built in our office was so supportive. AMC was so supportive through that. So that's the other aspect of it too, is we say it's a family, and you never felt more than at that time that AMC was a true family to us. So so much more than just a business, right? There's so much depth to what I've been exposed to here. What seemed on the surface like I just want to have a better practice was, knowing that I have a better life now from it. And so the foundation that was built way back at the beginning, I know will sustain me throughout the rest of my life, and what I've learned here through the principles of just running an office, but also how I am as a human being.